Hey guys, welcome to LA Love Creative, and today we're talking about the 24mm G Master lens, shooting portraits with it, and my first impressions of that lens. Now, a lot of photographers think when you're shooting portraits, you have to shoot with a telephoto, a medium telephoto lens, the most popular being the 85mm lens. The reason for this is with a telephoto lens, you can compress the body and a lot of the features will come out a little bit slimmer, a little bit smaller. So when you're shooting a portrait, you won't have a lot of distortion and you'll have more of a flattering image. Now, I think that's great. However, I'm not a big fan when it comes to photography when people say, don't do this, don't do this. I think you should learn the techniques and learn the basics, but then do what the you want when it comes to photography.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
So with my last shoot, I had a model shoot with a agency that I work with, and I decided to shoot everything with a 24mm lens. Now, the 24mm is not that wide. However, it can cause a lot of distortion when you're shooting. There are two types of distortions you're gonna wanna look out for. One is barrel distortion, which is kind of like the corners getting kind of like whatever that is. And then there's perspective distortion, which is kind of like that fisheye lens. Basically, when you're shooting, it'll make your features bigger and more pronounced, and that might not be the best look for all your images. And one of my biggest tips when I'm shooting with a wider angle lens on subjects is I kind of keep the distance further away. I do portraits, less extreme close-up portraits and more medium close-ups, and sometimes that actually helps a lot. One thing I really liked about the Sony G Master 24mm lens is the image quality was amazing. It's very impressive when it comes to image. Obviously, it's a G Master lens, like we all know that. But what I really liked about the G Master is how it handles sharpening. A lot of the other third-party lenses, Sigma, the art series from Sigma are a great example. They have a over-sharpening image, like over-sharpening. I like to make cinematic images, so I like to make sure that my image is sharp. However, I don't like it to be overly sharp. And obviously you can always go in post and add more sharpening if you want that. Autofocusing. Now, the G Master is not a cheap lens. All G Master lenses are pretty expensive, and I find that a lot of the third-party lenses out there are really great. However, when it comes to autofocus, those are the things that they actually struggle with. I found that the 24mm was doing great. I never had to worry about autofocus. I was blasting through images, bursting through images, and I felt like the focus was just right. I just felt like it was a great package to have with the Sony a7 III with the 24mm. Now, if you're wanting to save a little bit money and go with more of like a Sigma art lens or some of the other third-party lenses, just know that the autofocus is gonna be good, but it's not gonna be as great as using an actual native Sony lens. Now, do I actually want to get this lens? I do want a good wide angle prime. However, I wanted to test out the Bodice 25mm. So I think I'm gonna do another video on something like that in the near future. But I really enjoyed shooting with the 24mm. It actually felt less distorted than other wide angle lenses that I've shot with before. And I had a blast shooting with it. So that's all I had to say today about the 24mm G Master lens. Let me know if you have any questions regarding photography or videography, and I will see you later. See you next time.